Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Now that we've gone over the different types of VTubers, I'll be showing you guys how to make a GifTuber. Now as the name suggests, we'll be making a VTuber out of different GIFs or animations, so any experience with animation helps a lot, but isn't required, so don't worry. This video will be a longer one because it will be covering planning the character and plugging it into the program that we're going to be using. Now, if you're the one making the art when sketching, you're going to want to have a very clear idea of the character and what its animations are going to look like. Also, if you're paying an artist to do all of this, you're going to need all this information anyway, so you may as well plan ahead. That way it makes your job a little easier. Make sure to ask for things like transparency and, how you're going to want the later format in this stage too, just to make it clear for them. I'll give you guys a basic outline of where to start with the GIF animations. This is a very basic outline, so definitely add to it for better results. But if you've never done any kind of animation before, I'd probably start out with the basics because you can just always add more to it later. So starting out, if your character is a human one with a mouth and teeth, you're going to need to do some work if you want to make realistic looking mouth gestures. So to make realistic looking mouth gestures, first you need to understand the different mouth shapes that indicate what sounds are being made. I would say that for any beginner, as I said, you definitely don't want to bite off more than you can chew. You still need to draw the whole rest of the character. So I would use about 5 different frames for the mouth animations. So including the opening and the closing of the mouth, that's about 3 different frames just to denote speech. If your character is something more cartoonish, you can probably get away with less frames of animation, maybe something like 1 through 3. But if there isn't as much of a concrete blueprint to go on, I've seen people focus on other overall effects and other aspects of the GifTuber, like the eyes, the body movement, other things like that to bring it to life and make it stand out. Now, some other basic things you may want to worry about are blinking animations, body gestures, honestly anything you care enough about to imagine or animate. But the steps, while not being exactly the same, will largely be similar. So we'll go over the animating of the mouth. Now, before animating anything, it's generally a good idea to look at real life examples and break them down. I'll save you guys the time, and I'll give you a quick speech breakdown. If you're trying to get hyper realistic mouth movements, your character is gonna be moving their mouth for every single syllable. That would be about 11 different frames, not including mouth opening and closing. So for that reason, I recommend doing the most common shapes for general sounds and similar tactics used by cartoon and animations for years. So I would advise making frames for the letters F, B, M, and P, and U and E at a minimum. I'll put a chart up for you guys to see that. So I know a lot of this information can be relative for everyone because everyone works at their own pace in a different way. So I'll make sure to play a time lapse of me making this VTuber that I'm using right now on the side. That way you guys can see the process that I went through. Something to keep in mind is that when making and exporting the GIFs, I'm pretty sure the program that we're going to use called Vtuber optimizes your GIFs, but I would recommend exporting them at about 10 to 15 frames per second. Now, while we're on that topic, as I said, the program that we're going to be using to make the actual VTuber is called Vtuber. It's free and open source and can even run on a laptop, so it's pretty accessible to most. I'm sure more complex and expensive programs exist like Live2D, things like that, but this is the one that I understand the most. So once again, sure you can just use this as a base for something more complex. Now, as I said, planning before animation is always a must. One of the nice things about Vtuber is that even though it's a very light program, initially designed for still images, it does bring a lot of life to your character on its own. The program that we'll be using for this tutorial, as I said, is very light, so it doesn't do a lot of the fancier stuff like track your face to show the model it's a mirror. So honestly, I just used a lot of frames I had for the mouth to make the most natural looking talking GIFs. For each stage in Vtuber, you basically need 1 still image and 3 GIFs. Now that's going to be a closed mouth image, an open mouth GIF, a closed mouth blinking GIF, and an open mouth blinking GIF. As I said, animation can get tiring, so I would recommend starting small and making sure you finish it. But once you finish drawing all of these assets, that's most of the heavy lifting. You never want to put tons of time into something and not enjoy the final product. So yeah, so now that we've done all of the art, all the heavy lifting, we're going to be going into the last step. So you're going to be wanting to move all the images, the GIF files, everything that you made, you're going to be wanting to move all those over to the same computer that you're going to be running the program on. Then once you open the program, Vtuber, I'll list a link and everything else that you guys will need in the comments. It's honestly pretty intuitive. We've done most of the hard work already. You can see the top there. For each state, as I said, you'll need 4 assets. That'll be the closed mouth image, the open mouth GIF, the closed mouth blinking GIF, and the open mouth blinking GIF. It's pretty easy to put them all in there, and everything should work the right way once you do it. One thing that everyone does need to tweak independently, however, is the microphone and model sensitivity. Depending on your model and how many frames of animation you use for things like speech and movement, all those kind of things, you may need to alter the settings. So once again, it'll be different for everyone, but I would recommend testing lots of different phrases. Make sure the model is reacting the way that you expect it to, and everything like that. And now after this, you should definitely be ready to plug this model into any kind of software like OBS or Streamlabs. But yeah, that's the whole tutorial. Thank you guys for sticking around, everyone who made it this far. And once again, see you guys next time.